Back in 1949, when men were men and ski boots were made of leather, they came clear up to your ankle bone and they cost as much as $20 a pair. Brad Vancour and his friends were going to try to ski Mont Tremblant the same way it was skied back in 1940, at the same 10 below zero temperature and in their father's 1940 equipment. And a man who remembers the good old days is 100-year-old A.J. Snow.
In the younger days, chances are you had a warped hickory ski and a stick that you planted in the snow and you swung around in it. The sticks sometimes stuck and you fell face first downhill. It was quite an adventure.
Mont Tremblant was the site of many of those good old-time adventures. It's about 100 kilometers north of Montreal, where Joe Ryan built his first chairlift in 1938. I can remember trying to learn to ski on this same kind of gear back in 1940, when medical insurance hadn't even been invented yet. When a complete ski outfit, boots, bindings, skis and poles might cost as much as $45. Why, my first pair of used pine skis without edges cost me a great big $2. Brad Vancour and his friends discovered that 1940 equipment was almost impossible to ski on, just as their fathers had discovered the same thing 50 years ago.
You know, it's been really humbling going back in time. I think Luke, myself, and Rock have grown to really appreciate the old-timers with the technique and style that they had, given the equipment they had to use.
Yes, today's equipment does make a big difference in your fun factor. Today, the same Mont Tremblant runs are hammered by Brad Vancour, Rock Newberry, Luc Bombardier in modern gear and in their father's old-time gear, too. During the next 5 years, Mont Tremblant, which is now owned by Blackcomb, is going to spend $413 million for upgrades just to increase everyone's fun factor. But the same good snow and the quaint provincial charm conceived and built by Joe and Mary Ryan in 1938 are still here today. But today, they can always guarantee good snow because they can pour it out of hoses instead of waiting for it to fall out of the sky. Back in those early days, there were no 40-foot-high snow fences to protect the snow on the many runs from the ravages of howling Canadian winds. As a matter of fact, back then they didn't even have many runs on Mont Tremblant. An old-time skier, 100-year-old A.J. Snow, reminisces with his much younger wife, Aida.
What's your most favorite thing about skiing? Sitting before the fireplace.
After skiing. Now, you remember when I was younger that you couldn't get me to sit.
Oh, yeah, he went up with a milk train. They used to call it the milk train. First run up.
I was one of these eager beavers, you know. First one up and last one down.
And no lunch in between.
That's bragging enough.
Oh, you had
Don't put that in. That's awful.
And he's the best 100-year-old skier that you'll ever see. A.J. Snow is 100 years old. He's almost totally deaf. He's completely blind in one eye. And most important, he's been skiing for 75 years. While you're watching AJ Snow, I want you to subtract your present age from 100. That's probably how many good years of skiing you still have ahead of you. And I personally salute 100-year-old AJ Snow because I know that every year he keeps skiing, I've got at least 32 more good years of skiing and movie making ahead of me.
If you couldn't ski, what would you miss the most?
Companionship, the companionship, the comradeship, the will to live.
My goal is to still be skiing and making movies when I'm 110 years old. What's your goal?